All right, week 4. It's in the almost in the books. We still got Monday night coming up, but pretty much in the books. And by in that, I was like dun 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 dun, all that jazz and all that theme music. But here I go trying to give a little recap, and we're gonna try to do it underneath 10 minutes once again. Let's see how I do. Start with the late night game, Chiefs and Jets, and did not think that how this would go at all. Thought it was basically going to be like, how fast are we going to have to boo this man out the stadium, and how much are we going to talk about Taylor Swift because the game is out of hand. Now that sort of happened because the game did get out of hand, but also just kept happening too, and that's going to be a long season with them, especially as they keep winning. But I was like, we got a reversal of the things. We got of the quarterback pretty much. I was like, Zach Wilson turned into a really good quarterback and started also letting loose on playing, which I was like, thank God they let him do that. And they got the running game and they got everything else going. That got the defense more pumped up. Shocker. And on the other hand, Patrick Mahomes sort of turned into what we sort of thought Zach Wilson was going to be. I was like underthrowing balls, and it was a really weird game for Patrick Mahomes because there was like I was like, they're covered, but of course with Patrick Mahomes, nobody's ever truly covered. But he just kept not putting enough air on the ball, like he was selling them short on a lot of those interceptions. And the defense was crushing them for nearly pretty much the whole game. And Wilson was over here throwing, I was like, almost throwing down. He was throwing good ball to the tight end, but then he overthrew Wilson that could have gave him a touchdown. Another touchdown Conklin couldn't pull in, so therefore that sort of just destroyed and disrupted what they were doing. But I was like, the Chiefs got the win, but they sort of got out there barely. But it was all on the back of Mahomes and Pacheco, and thank God for that, because otherwise, I was like, the defense couldn't stop them, and the receivers were struggling. So, but they came away with this win, and we keep that train rolling. Patriots and Cowboys got away from us fast. I thought that there was going to be one of those, yes, the Cowboys might win, but Belichick was going to mess it up. Yeah, that didn't happen. The defense, I thought, played all right considering what they were really up against, and by that, I mean they was pretty much playing from behind with the whole game because what Mac Jones pretty much did and put them in that hole. And and I was like, he was doing it's stuff that is just like wild, that he threw across his body in a way that's like, okay, you don't supposed to do that. But he did that one, and that one was barely successful. For him to do it again on the same drive is ridiculous. And he pretty much was just so bad that they put in Zappy, who they cut earlier this year and brought back. But it was so bad to the point that it's like, what is going on here? And they didn't have a chance. The Cowboys defense looked like they're back on track. That's how bad that the Patriots were playing. Zeke didn't get any type of revenge at all in there. I was like, so it was a pretty much wash game. There was nothing else about it. Cardinal 49er, pretty much Cardinal. I was like, the 49ers keep on moving and trucking. Christian McCaffrey is that guy where there's no amount that he can't do. If they're the video game guy, he's a video game guy. And there was a lot of video game plays today, and he's one of them. He's just the player, not even a player. But I was like, also in that, the Cardinals also showed that they're a tough out. They're a tough out. I won't say they're good or nothing like that, but Dobbs and the crew, they play tough, they play hard, they try to make this a game, but as eventually it just got away from them. They sort of started too late anyway, but I was like, and against that, and that's pretty good against that defense, so I was like, that's sort of more victory over there, but 49ers just do what they've been doing so far. That's pretty much what they team. Raiders and Chargers. I was like, this game has been a couple games this weird Sunday where it seemed like, do teams want to win? And by that, I mean, the Raider was getting it handed to them. They got a rookie quarterback at the helm, and you're like, Mac is destroying the offensive line, destroying an offensive line. Where I was like, he's going to end up making the Pro Bowl just off of this game because he had so many sacks that this is going to be pretty much part of his total. He probably only going to have like 15 sacks, and this is going to be off from this one game. It might not even be that many sacks. It's just going to be off from this one game. And the Chargers was up, and you're like, okay, cool. The Raiders, how they look, and all this other stuff, injuries and people getting hurt all around. And the Raiders were building a comeback several times. And Staley, I swear, Justin Herbert is doing everything he can to pretty much keep this team afloat despite Staley. Because Staley he's doing like things where it's just like, it's not that he's going forward and whatever analysts stuff like, it's just the timing of it where it's like you got the lead, you're up. Why, like you're trying to go for it to end it, and that same stuff is also why you probably could have lost the game. And for like the second, third week, he gets away with it, and the Chargers win this game, beating, I was like, the Raiders off pretty much a rookie quarterback. Not saying Garoppolo would have been great in that same way, but I was like, maybe there's some instances where like it wouldn't have been as many sacks or something like that. I don't know, but either way, it still was closer than it needed to be. Commanders Eagles is also a game that I feel like was a bit closer than I think people would have thought. But to be honest, the Commanders really have a team that really matches well with the Eagles, and what the Eagles want to do with running the ball and play action and all that other stuff. And the Commanders sort of got like the defensive line, and they got like athletic people in the. I mean, everybody's athletic, but I was like, so they can match up with the Eagles. And Sam Howell also bounced back from his poor game against the Bills as well in this game too, and basically came back on them as well. I was like, and I was like, the way they came back, they should have sort of won the game. But he was passing on the team that you really shouldn't with, slaying all of them. But I was like, the Eagles, also the way I was like, don't get me wrong, they had a good game and stuff like that. But you can still tell like it's not clicking, it's still not there. And good thing they got so much talent at every spot that it makes up for a lot. Like AJ Brown just over here just being a monster, just returning the catch all the way to the end zone and whatnot. So Eagles take this one, but it was a lot closer than I feel like everybody maybe would have been a pick of thought. But the Commanders are a really good team. I would like this year as well. Rams and Colts is also a game of, do you want to win? Because that's how it felt. Because once again, the Rams was up on the Colts in a way that you would think that, oh, okay, it should be pretty handy. They wasn't scoring touchdowns, so that maybe is like the thing where it's like, you keep on getting that close to the end zone, you get that close to scoring, but all you can do is get field goals. And at some point, the team is going, I was like, a decent team is going to be able to conjure up points to start catching up. And that's what pretty much happened. I was like, the Rams were pretty much going through them. They were like, running the ball, throwing the ball, I was like, Ram stuff. And they really couldn't get nothing going. Like the passing was just nothing into the dirt. I was like, they couldn't run the ball, nothing. And then it just seemed like third quarter, it just clicked. I was like, Richardson turned into the dude that basically was here like the last couple of weeks, where it was just like, I was like, and he wasn't even running all over the lot, but I was like, it just seemed like the play calling just changed, and they could just start getting down the field. And once they scored like a touchdown, I was like, okay. Then another touchdown. Then all of a sudden they had momentum, and they win the overtime. And to be honest, I was like, because of Nacua, I was like, that he pretty much he got them into the game, because I was like, the DB like slipped and they won the game. But there was another game where it's like it was in hand and they let it go, and I was like, luckily McVay got the ring and stuff like that. Otherwise we'd probably be talking junk about him, because he's sort of been doing that a little bit this year. But I was like, it played a little. He don't really have the same player either, if we're gonna also be honest. So Dolphins and Bills. This was, like the highest scoring teams going back and forth, best offenses and stuff. And I was like, of course I'll go for the Dolphins, and I was like, we win, but I knew it was gonna be a hard game. I just didn't think it'd be like this. I was like, I at least said that this was going to be back and forth until somebody defense stepped up, and That's what happened. The Bills defense stepped up, and once they sort of picked up to it was sort of a wrap after that. They were going back and forth for a good while, and then the defense was holding them, and Diggs and Allen just decided to be those duos because Allen was just launching the ball everywhere, and Diggs was making everybody look embarrassed. I was like, there's a point where he grabbed the ball, ran into two people, spun off in a way that looks like something that happens on a Madden glitch, and took it to the house. And it was a wrap. And that I was like, that was pretty much it. The Bills took up that game. Bucks and Saints, really low scoring affair. Be honest, I was like, Baker Mayfield, I mean, except for against the Eagles, I was like, he's sort of been playing how he's been this whole year, where it's like, that's like, I was like, no turnovers. I was like, just methodical going down the field. I was like, being the accurate quarterback we sort of thought that he was, especially like that year in Cleveland when he had Cleveland going in the right direction. That's sort of how he looks this year, and that's how he looked in this game, despite Evans going out. And Carr looked like a dude that was over here playing and trying to gut it out, tough it out, whatever you want to, but also might be hurting the team in the process. Because even though he was still able to throw the ball, there was nothing for them. There was nothing. He was missing throws as well too. And granted, if you're not hurt, you could play that whole type of thing. And they wasn't gonna let Jameis play, so this is what they're gonna get. But they pretty much there was nothing here. Ravens Browns. I was like, knowing that Deshaun Watson was out, there was already no chance of this game being a game unless the defense balled out. And they sort of have a hard time with Lamar Jackson. And that's what this sort of proved today, that it's a hard thing to try to stop Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was pretty much on point in all cases of the offense. I was like, 2 rushing touchdowns. I was like, he threw a ball to Mark Andrews that I still don't understand how he got that ball up there. And yes, Mark Andrews jumped up there to get it, but that is still bananas to me of that pass in general. I was like, I also feel like, see, unlike all the other teams, because I was like, Deshaun Watson was out, and they have injury, but since the Ravens always have injury, just don't mean nothing to them. The receiver being out, okay. Running back hurt, all right. I was like, defense banged up, okay. Guess what? We still got enough of, Raven culture to pretty much be like, yeah, but we still gonna run the ball, so we can always rely on that. We ain't gotta. We would have passed it before. I was like, we ain't gotta really be doing that this year either. I was like, it was a pretty straightforward game, and by God, they was killing the hell out the. I was like, Dorian. I don't know the dude's name, and the way he got beat up, we might not know his name. That's how bad he got beat up. It was crazy. Somebody might want to call abuse for that one. That's all I'm saying. Steelers Texans, also a game I did not seek going in this fashion. I obviously picked the Steelers to win, but I was going off of their defense, and Stroud, that dude, I was like, talk about how in the draft we always say something to knock the safe and consistent dude, because that's pretty much what Stroud was in comparison to Richardson and Young. And yeah, and granted, Richardson is also proven to be that guy too. Young is still having some bumps and stuff, but Stroud, that's the guy, because I don't know any of those receivers except for Robert Woods, and all those guys are making plays out here. The line is holding up, which they've been playing some tough defense, so that's also a really good thing. And I think it's just going to really be hard for the Steelers. Yes, they got a good defense, but it's just going to be hard when your offense can't do anything. They can't run the ball. Harris is over here, I was like, not looking good in comparison to also Warren. I mean, neither one of them really did much, but that's a problem. Like Pickett or the offense or whatever can't get the ball to the playmaker, so that's also another thing. And Pickett got hurt, so so how that's going to go. And it's I was like, they're going to Trubisky, and I was like, that's the reason they had a problem with that. It's going to be a problem for the Steelers, but hey, good job for the Texans. I'm like, they over here shocking people, and in that division as well too, that's sort of up. I was like, it's pretty much. I was like, and we'll get to the other team later on, but that division is probably looking like the strongest as of right now, and that's wild. Talk about a game of who. This is unlike the other ones of who wants to win this game. This was a game of who wants to lose. Broncos Bears. I thought this game could end up being funny, and I thought this game could end up being the reason that everybody gonna have something to talk about on the talk show. And it did not disappoint. It I was like, for all that said, Justin Fields came out and he was busting their ass. He was throwing the ball. I was like just all over the lot, having the best game of his career. And the Broncos looked like some poo. And that's how it was. And then it just stalled, and it's like, it's like 28-7. Okay, stall. What does that mean? I was like, you still good, right? No, not at all. Somehow the Broncos flipped. I was like, and they revert. You know what they did? It's like I was like, they put a reverse card. Now that's what they did. And all of a sudden, Broncos just started scoring, and and the Bear couldn't do anything. And at the same time, I was like, Justin Fields gave up that. He fumbled the ball or whatever, and they scored it. I was like, I don't count that interception. I don't care what you say. I'm not counting that interception. But he fumbled the ball. He gave him 7. We can put that part on Justin. But Justin also gave you 28 points. He also gave you 28 points. So what the defense do? What the coach supposed to do? Defense. And once again, I was like, Garbaggio out here just letting them come back. There should not be. And also, I was like, if you're up that much, I don't understand how you stall that much either after that. Like, you should keep on doing what you were doing in the first half. But also too, when it was 4th and 1, and then it's like a delay, but they call timeout. It's like, okay, cool. First of all, take the points. Take the points. You've been stalled this long. Take the points. I was like, just to make them do a little extra something. But also, if you're gonna run the ball, 4th and 1, run it with Justin Fields. He's 6'5". You either get him out. I can't. It was horrible game. There was a great, funny, it was all the adjectives you want to use for this game. It was all emotion. I was like, if you won the Bear, that's crazy. No, I was like, Broncos win. Next, Bengals and Titans. I don't know, but the Bengals also looking like doo-doo right now. And Joe Burrow was getting burrowed into that ground. I was like, the Titans, but they up and down ass all the time. But look, Derrick Henry, beast. I was like, Hopkins, beast. Makes everybody else better. It hides Tannehill and his what we gonna kind of get out of him all the time. But this one looked back to the Titans that was dominating the division for a long time, and they took the win in a dominating fashion. Viking Panthers, it was a game of who wants to win, and it was kind of just like the Panthers were really just trying to end the game before the Vikings seemed like they could put it together. And because it's like the Panthers was up and the Vikings couldn't really do anything. And then I was like couple miscues from Young and stuff like that. And then Vikings are up, and that's pretty much how the game went. It really wasn't like a great game or nothing. Jefferson's always good. It was really just like about time somebody won in this game. I was like, there was some drop passes on the receiver's behalf. I see they want to start receiver. That's crazy to me. I don't understand. I was like, they got enough weapons where they should be fine. It seems like it's more of a issue with the actual offense and Young in general. And he's just young. No pun intended. That's how it's gonna go. I was like, Jaguar Falcons. I was like, I didn't catch this game. It was in the morning. I didn't catch that game at all. And they showed the little Toy Story version of it. Jaguars win. That's all I'm gonna give you. I was like, yeah. But anyway, that's it. I was like, hope you enjoyed my recap. Looking at the clock, I'll try to do better next time. If you liked any of this or you got your own stuff, let me know. I appreciate it. But you didn't like the video, hey, maybe next time. But until then, I'm out.